Okay. So just going through the agenda, we're going to take a quick look at the eTakeoff, just an overview of it. We'll talk about the eTakeoff bridge. We'll talk a little bit about where the product is going in the future. And then, like Tim said, after we get through the presentation, we'll go ahead and take some time for some specific questions from you all. So I'm just going to go ahead and get out of here, jump right into the product. So we're looking at the eTakeoff screen right now. And as you can see, we have a full Microsoft Windows screen. It's the ribbon. It's the newest, latest, greatest version of the ribbon. If we highlight any one of these areas, help comes up as we pass over them. So it's a very user-friendly system. We don't have to go into a help menu to find out what's going on. We can just hover over any section, and it'll let us know what to do with that particular piece. The software is a true SQL solution. So if there's any IT type people on the phone, that has great benefits. It's a much stronger solution. It's a better database to back up the solution. And it also works very well over the networks. Everything we can do inside the system is mouse driven. So if we scroll in, scroll out, we zoom in and zoom out. If you look very closely at the lines on the drawing, you can see how clear they are. Some of you all have used a Takeoff solution in the past. And if you zoom way in on any particular part of a drawing, it gets kind of hatchy, blurry even. The reason these are so clear is it works natively with PDF drawings. So when we import the PDFs from a plan room, from the architect, we do not have to convert them to TIFFs to use this software. So directly onto the PDFs is the way we work in here. The screens themselves, over here on the side, these panels, they can be released. So we can move them anywhere we want on the screen. We can move them to another screen, easily moving them back where they came from. We can have up to 4 different areas on each one of the screens. So if we want to come in here and put a layer list on here, you can see I can very quickly get the layers list right there and have it on that screen at any given time. Obviously, the real estate of your screen is a pretty big piece of digital takeoff. So being able to unhook those panels and move them to another screen to free up space for the drawing is a big piece of this product. We can also minimize the ribbon itself. So if we come up here and minimize it, we can get rid of that, give ourselves some more space also. So they've kind of thought through all the pieces. If you see in here, we're looking at the drawing right now. We have the layers up over here on the side. We can very easily turn off layers, turn layers back on so we can see just things that we want to look at any given time. That one, come back out here. A lot of people want to make sure that they can get in and do things like the bird's eye view. So if you're zoomed way in on a drawing, you can see that I can move it around with the bird's eye view. So just know that we do have all those features built into this system, and they're very easy to use and add to the screens. Here, another piece that's pretty nice. I'm just going to click here and just quickly put some measurements on here. We have a filtering function in this screen. One of the pieces of eTakeoff is it is a true multi-user system. What I mean by that is 2 people could work on the same drawing at the same time, 3 people, 4 people. Not that it happens or happens very often, but it could happen. And you could definitely have multiple people using the same drawing at different times. So I just went in here and took this off. Maybe we come in and say we want to do some filtering and just show me all the things that an individual does. So if we log in, I come in as Jim, I could see just the pieces I want to see at any given time. Or somebody reviewing what I have done can see what's going on and very easily say, well, that's just crazy that that's there, and move that around and take it off. Okay, so we can go click, delete, it is gone. Very easy to add those and take them away. I'm going to just jump over here to another plan real quick, talk about a couple of the easy features in the system. Move this down. We'll talk about area type takeoff. When we do an area takeoff, all we're doing is clicking from point A to point B. When we hover, just like up here where we hover and it gives us the different shortcuts and the help, if we hover in a space on the drawing, it will zoom in. So if I stay there and I'm clicking in an area, it will zoom into that area to let me get a specific point. And I'm just going to go around this room here real quick and click on all the corners. We'll just hit stop there. So very easily getting my dimensions in this system, and it's tracking at all times over here. We do have things like the 2-point rectangle, so if I want to do things even quicker, I can click point A, point B, come back up, point A, point B, and we can take these rectangular areas off very quickly. So very easy to use, very simple. That's the one thing I want to emphasize at all times. You can also see over here, whenever I'm doing takeoff, I am going to get the point counts, I'm going to get the length, the perimeter, and the area. Every single time, those are going to happen for you. They don't have to be set up on a condition. They are happening no matter what. We can also grab different pieces, such as this area right here. So we'll just go in here and we're going to say we're going to multi-select this. And I'm going to drag and drop this right down here into my project favorites. What that allows me to do is I can bring that back out of my project favorites and put it anywhere else I want. So very easily copying information. Maybe I have the same information on multiple floors, and I take it off on one floor, and I can just copy it on each other floor. As you can see, that was a very simple process. I'm going to clear this out of the way real quick. We'll just get rid of all these so we can do some more takeoff. Doing things like 2-point rectangles, squares, that's always nice, but as we all know, we don't live in a square world anymore. The more architects get into their drawings, the more curves, the more angles they put on things. So we'll come in here. We're just going to quickly do a length here, and I'm going to go around this pool. So I'm just clicking point A to point B, and we're going to come around the curve. And you can see how easily it came around the curve for me. So it does that automatically for you just by clicking on the points around the curve, and you're getting those curved measurements very easily. Once again, still getting the length, the perimeter, and the area, and the point counts. We can always put descriptions on anything we take off and track that information moving forward. So going around the pool, we got all the information. I'm going to go into a couple of different things now, because as you get more familiar with the product, we want you to have more feature sets to the product. So let me just get rid of the pool there. Go back up here and so we can see some areas up here. And we'll go in and we'll look at some template information. So we can go into any section we want. Sorry, let's go down just a little bit here. Framing and drywall. And I'm going to go right here and I'm just going to grab this one that's link studs and drywall and double click on it. When I double clicked on it, I don't know if everybody saw it or not, some information came up over here. This is where eTakeoff really starts excelling. There's not a couple of variables you get to enter. You can have many, many variables. These are called traces. And what happens is we go through this, and I'm going to go ahead and take off around this wall here. Just get the door and everything there. You can see this red E. The red E is letting me know the system doesn't have all the information it needs to calculate this particular wall. We can see that red E right here on the drawing. If we're monitoring the drawings, if we're reviewing drawings, we can see that something's being left off. We can come into all of our different views, see our measurement list. On our measurement list, let me just maximize that. We can come through the measurement list, and it's going to have our red E also. what happens is as we come through, you can see over here that it's asking me for the wall height. Some people like it over here. Some people like it to pop up on the screen like this. So I can go through and actually answer these variables. These ones in red are, you have to answer them. So if I come in here and I say that this is 8 feet tall, we've got 2 sides to it, we'll just say, okay here. You'll notice that the red E goes away, and now it's a blue E, letting me know that I have completed it. Another thing we can do is let's just take that and throw it over here onto our project favorites. The benefit of being able to do that is think of wall type A, wall type B. We did a wall type A. It's 8 feet tall. It's this, this. We've entered all the attributes for it. We can actually put it over here. And what happens is in the future, I can just double click on that and start taking off all my wall type A's. So I don't have to answer those questions over and over again. Once again, speeding everything up, very easy to do. Here, just multi-select these to get rid of them. So down here at the bottom, you can see that we have our project favorites, global favorites. Now, with the wall types, not necessarily going to be a global favorite because a wall type A isn't a wall type A from every architect. But there's certain things that can be global favorites. A lot of our clients use things like the stamps. So if you have approved stamps, things like that, we put them in a global favorite so you don't have to come out and get into your annotations and do those different pieces. So they're always there for you to use. Just keep moving forward here. Come up here. I'm just going to go to a different piece here. Come down here and go into our electrical section here. I want to do the auto count feature in this system because it's a very nice feature. If we come over here, we'll just go over here to our drawing, and we'll go ahead and take off the fire detectors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit this start and resume. I'm going to tell it what I'm looking for. And as you can see here, I can select what it is. So if we want to come through here and get any piece or part of the system, we can do that. So I can come in here and just say that this is going to be the smoke detector, and then I can search the entire drawing. Unique feature to the software, I could search it from 4 rotations. So to look at it from the left, then from the right, then from the bottom, then from the top, to find more information. I'm just going to go here and fire that up a little bit. I don't want to find too much. We'll do our search. Now you can see down here it's searching for the drawing. This is a multi-user system, so while it's searching, I could go and start taking off other dimensions, anything I want to do. It does do it very quickly, so you're going to see that it's going to get done in here in just a second. And we're good. So I'm going to double click on this, and it's going to show me what it found. And you can see all the different pieces. And you can see, well, this one's obviously not something. These 2 aren't. I can get rid of those just by purging the unselected ones. But I can come in here and this is a heat one here, and the rest look good. So we can go right here. We can say, I don't want to take this off now, but I'm still going to have to count it. So I can select all of these. I can say save and continue. And then I can come back in for this one and select something different. So I can come in and tell it that it's the heat detector. And we can go ahead and hit save and continue on that one. And you can see all the information is there for us now. I'm going to scroll out a little bit here. You can see that there's lots of fire detector or smoke detectors in the building, very safe building. But it took off all the different pieces for us. We can get into these different searches. We can see them, and we can actually do some extra pieces to this. So if we wanted to, we could come in and actually select a search and do the search for multiple drawings. So I have those in lots of different places, but I can specifically say, instead of the entire set of plans, I can come down here and look for the different things that maybe I want to get into. So maybe I'll have some of these few drawings here, and we just hit search. And if we expand that real quick, you'll see that it's searching all of those drawings at the same time for me and finding all of those smoke detectors on every one of those drawings for me. So it's a very fast system, it is a very smart system, and it is a multi-user. The symbols. I was showing the software just the other day to somebody, and they were asking me about symbols. We do have a nice symbol database built into the system, but the system also allows you to create your own symbols. So if there's things you want to use in the laboratory or for doors that aren't in the system specifically the way you want to see them, you can create those and actually add them to the system. One more piece I want to show you in this system before we go into the bridge. Anybody on the phone right now that has ever had to deal with the details and had details where the architect used multiple scales, and as you can see here, I have scales that are 3/4 equal, I have 1.5 equals, so forth and so on. eTakeoff is unique in a function that it has called detail scales. So we can come in here and actually click on detail scales and create a new scale. So I can add a new one. Maybe this scale is going to be roof detail. I'm just going to give it a standard scale just because I assume that it's right. So we got 1.5 inches equals 1 foot. There we go. Well, you can go in here, we can say set the border. And what's going to happen with the set the border is I'm going to click on one point and I'm going to click on another point. Say OK. So now I actually have a roof detail and a mechanical chase detail. But you can see, hopefully, I know, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see the blue outline around that particular detail. Each one of these details can have a different scale to it, making it very beneficial when you have to get into these details all the time. That is a unique piece to this system. Once we have all of our drawings, once we have all of our takeoffs done, what we're going to do is we're going to go into something called the bridge. The bridge is the interface between eTakeoff and Sage estimating. So when we come into the bridge, you're going to see how this works real quick. Let me just get in here and say yes to that. So I have the manual takeoff here, and let me go to a different drawing. Let me go back over to my foundation plan here. So, you know, what is a demo from Sage or Timberline without it doing some concrete type work? So we're looking at concrete here, and the way the bridge works is this is my database from Sage. So I can look into this database. I can see different pieces to this database. I can get into these general conditions and say, yes, I've got 12 months out here on this job. I can actually add that, which is giving me my building permits, my electric, everything, my project superintendent, and send that into Sage. So that just became part of the Sage estimates. That's literally kind of doing the estimate in the system. The next piece to that, however, is to look at something like this. So I have these different pieces here. What I can do is I can map these things. So I can pull this over and say, this is a 5-inch slab. When I do this, you're going to see that the information comes up. Hopefully you guys can see the colors on your screen, but these are map solutions. So this was my takeoff. This is the assembly inside of Sage. All I'm saying is that the perimeter, goes to this field in the assembly. The concrete PSI strength goes to this field. The area goes to this field. So you can see those colors happening for me right here. And they're this easy. If I wanted to, if this hadn't been mapped already, let's just say this 37 needs to be where that perimeter is over there. All I do is click on this cell right here, and I drag it to there and drop it. That's all there is to that piece. That is all we have to do. So it's very easy to do, very easy to get done. Once something has been mapped one time, so when I take off a piece of this puzzle one time with my different assemblies and it gets mapped, it's mapped permanently for every future plan, everything I want to do. So I never have to do this process again. I'm just going to go ahead and send that one over. So I'm going to click on this to add the actual cost detail and send that into my estimates. Now, as we're moving through the plan and we're starting to send things over to our estimate, sometimes it's nice to be able to see what's been sent and what hasn't been sent. So we have this piece right here called hide assigned. You can see that that piece just went away. So I'm not hiding it, I'm hiding it. So I can see what I have sent and what I haven't sent. So far, this process is already speeding up everything, but it's still kind of cumbersome. When we really get to speed is when we come into something like our automatic takeoff. So now I can see everything that I've taken off. If I wanted to, I could come inside here and I could look at it and I could see the change, the information, make sure it's all right. But what we have the ability to do is I could do these one at a time like this, or I could come right in and tell it, submit all these fully automatic assignments. So I just sent all of those over to Sage. These are semi-automatic ones. That's why they didn't go. I have another button for that. I could say send all the semi-automatics too, and they're gone. So very quickly, it can go back and forth from Sage. Now, one of the things I want to do is I want to bring back those assigned items. What happens if there's a change? Well, one of the things that can happen is you can come in here and let's just say this became, sorry, over here. Actually tell it, I want to add points. All right, so let's just say this became this. We'll go ahead and I'm going to hit stop. I'm going to change the description of this. Just say this was change order 1. I'm going to say check, and we're going to go back over to our bridge. I'm going to just refresh the bridge. So what happens is, if you all can see it, hopefully you can see it, is it brings in my new set. And I can send over the new set and all the details with it. So it actually tracks all my changes for me. Anybody that's on the line that uses the Sage software right now, the Sage estimating, what that's doing for me is actually bringing in the system and telling me, as you can see this little pencil mark right here under my review, that pencil is letting me know that I have my change. So if I go in here to review this change, you'll notice now that I actually have the original amount that I assigned, so that's what went over originally, but here's what it just got changed to. So it's tracking both of those pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and say combine those up and go ahead and send that over to Sage. If you're using Sage Estimating right now and you're used to using the review assemblies, the change in assembly in Sage Estimating, where you get that detail audit trail, what I just did will do the same thing in Sage Estimating. So I'm going to go right here and I'm just going to close out of the bridge since it's holding open my estimate for me. And I'm going to go out here and I'm going to open up my estimate. Now, when I bring in my estimate, you can see I have all that stuff from the general conditions that I told to come over, all that concrete formwork, all the stage, the chairs, everything I did over there. If we look at our assemblies, you can see all the pieces and parts to the assemblies. So we can see all of that information over here. It all came in together, and it came in detail. So if we looked at the review assembly, all of our detail would be on those passes. So we could see everything that we did. So it's very easy to use, very straightforward, and gives you all the detail. The other side is right here. If you look at these little blue boxes, hopefully you guys can see those on your side. I know they're kind of small, but those are our links back into the bridge. So if I click this, it's going to close that estimate, and it's going to open up the bridge. And it's going to bring me right back to where we were. So we'll have all that information at any given time, seeing everything that we need to see. So at this point, I'm going to stop just for a little while here. We've taken the entire eTakeoff process. We've gone through all the pieces. We've moved it all over into Sage Estimating. We could audit it in Sage Estimating. We could change prices in Estimating. It has a complete interface back and forth, so if there's changes made, it'll make the changes in Sage Estimating. This product, for those of you that don't use Sage Estimating and have maybe are not complex in the estimating world enough to use Sage Estimating because you're just subbing out a couple things, or maybe there's just not enough detail to take off. This product does also interface with Excel. So it has a very nice interface with Excel if you decide to do it that way. With that, I'm going to let Tim go ahead and